This is Ren Space and this is a video on the Westall UFO incident. Westall UFO incident. On April 6, 1966, when over 200 students and faculty in the area reportedly observed multiple UFOs defying physics and toying with other terrestrial aircraft. It was the biggest mass UFO sighting in Australian history. This was followed by the appearance of a mysterious military-type unit covering the whole thing up and warned us to never speak of it. What really happened in Westall? Who were the mysterious men telling locals to keep their mouths shut? A science teacher from the Westall school, Andrew Greenwood, who witnessed the event, said the UFO was first brought to his attention by a hysterical child who ran into his classroom and told him there's a flying saucer outside. He thought this child had become deranged or something, so he didn't take any notice. But when the child insisted that this object was in the sky, he decided to go out and have a look for himself. When he went outside, he noticed a group of children looking toward the northeast area of the school grounds, and as he approached them he claims he saw a UFO hovering close to the power line. Mr. Greenwood described it as a round, silver object about the size of a car with a metal rod sticking up in the air. Then 5 planes came and surrounded the object as more people began gathering. The planes were doing everything possible to approach the object, and he said how they all avoided collision he will never know. Every time they got too close to the object would slowly accelerate, then rapidly accelerate, and then move away from them and stop. Then they would take off after it again, and the same thing would happen. This game of cat and mouse reportedly went on for about 20 minutes, and by this time Mr. Greenwood said 350 children and staff were watching. The UFO then hovered over a place called the Grange and landed for a couple of minutes. A few students ran off to where the UFO had landed, and one of the girl named Danya mysteriously passed out as she approached closer to the object. The UFO then shot away and vanished within seconds, and it was at this point the headmaster came out and ordered everyone to go back to class. The girl that had passed out was taken away in an ambulance, and she never returned back to the school as per the student and school reports. Many reported seeing a circle of flattened grass on the ground where the object landed. Others observed men in uniform condoning off the landing site and removing soil and grass samples. Some say they saw men torch the area a few days later. The incident was reported on television news that night and in the local newspaper. There were also a series of UFO sightings around Victoria just days before the Westall incident. One of those sightings was captured on camera, and it highly resembles the UFO seen in Westall. Over the years there were reports that the government tried to cover up the incident and stop witnesses from talking, but Mr. Greenwood claimed it was the headmaster who first tried to squash discussion of the incident. The children were told they would be severely punished if they talked about this matter, and told the staff they could lose their jobs if they mentioned it at all. Mr. Greenwood then reportedly spoke to one of the older students who described the event in great detail exactly as he had seen it, but when he spoke to her again half an hour later she wouldn't say a word. Mr. Greenwood didn't think it had anything to do with the headmaster's threats, as no one usually took him seriously. There have been claims from several witnesses that sharply dressed men in black suits visited them and warned them from speaking about the incident. Although federal and state government agencies refused to comment about the 1966 Westall incident at the time, it is now believed that, rather than a UFO, what landed was an errant high-altitude balloon used to monitor radiation levels after the controversial Marilinga nuclear tests. The Hubble program was a joint U.S.-Australian initiative to monitor atmospheric radiation levels using large silver balloons equipped with sensors between 1960 and 1969. It's highly unlikely that over 200 people are gonna mistake a balloon for a metallic UFO, and this still doesn't explain how those objects moved at such a high speed. We still don't possess any aviation technology that can replicate that. As usual, the government does their job of playing with the minds of people. The people that witnessed the event in 1966 haven't seen anything even close to what they saw the day since, and still to this day don't have any answers to it, and it damn sure wasn't a weather balloon. The possibility of this is extraordinary. Life coming from another planet, just appearing one day and just vanishing and leaving everyone with so many questions. Drop down your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. We need your support. Don't forget to share if you like the video. Until next time. Peace.